I'm Buffy Grondin, and I am a career coach at the Birmingham campus of Hope Inspired Ministries. After probably about 12 years of addiction, I went through about 6 or 7 different programs. Got a little bit from each one of them, but it never really came together to give me full sobriety and what I needed to make good choices in life. And so in February, I believe it was, of 2021, I was told about the Foundry and persuaded to come. I went through the program for about 6 months, still not sure what the difference was. I mean, I could always stay sober for a length of time, but after walking outside the accountability, I generally stumbled. So around that time, I want to say about 4 months into the Foundry, I started taking the Hope Inspired Ministries class, which I was a little questioning about it because I had been in the professional scene for 20-something years, carried on a functioning alcoholic in a lot of sense. And so I was like, well, they're going to teach me how to do resumes. They're going to teach me how to apply for jobs, how to interview. And I thought I pretty much had that under my belt. But after taking the class, Farrah was our instructor at that time, and I realized that it taught so much more than job preparation. It was the faith-based decision-making skills, how to relate with people, why we ran away from things, which was my main issue, my addiction. I've now concluded from that class, along with the Foundry classes, has taught me that it was not alcohol that was my addiction. It was running away from problems, and that's what I had learned from early in life. So anyway, going through the HIM program sort of put a lot of that into perspective. And I was really, I have to say, the instructor, Farrah, really brought me into helping out in the class, and I really enjoyed doing it. And so from that point, at 9 months, which is when we start going from residential to an outpatient, I realized that 9 months had not kept me successfully sober in the past, so I decided to stay on at the Foundry for my follow-up outpatient. Stayed there, and at that point we are allowed to start looking for outside jobs. We can have vehicles, phones, such as that, for the last 3 months of our program. So Farrah actually recommended me to Hope Inspired Ministry here in Birmingham as a career coach. And I was sort of stunned because I was actually applying for my old route of profession, which was an accounting position. And when they approached me and I turned in my resume and they interviewed me, I was just humbled because I never thought that I had gained the self-confidence to tell other people my story in full. And that was one of the things that held me back. Was through the HIM program, we did the life maps. And the first time I revealed my life story and realized that it had an impact on other people, it started impacting my life as much as well. And so still brings tears to my eyes at the revelations the life maps had on me. And so doing that and then coming to work here, I was fortunate enough to meet a great staff. And they have just bonded as far as I always was scared of the accountability for leaving the Foundry and that mountain of support. Well, I gained it in the group in Hope Inspired Ministries. The support staff here is just wonderful. Well, of course, I come from a standpoint of addiction, which some of our students come in here, and that's their issue too, or had been their issues. But I also find that just being heartful and talking to the students one-on-one, they may not have been in the same situation, may not be going through the same things, but I guess I've always been so self-conscious of what my problems were. I couldn't relate to other problems, and because since going through the Foundry and everything else, we all have problems. So when I see someone hurting or needing something, it may not be in the same realm of what I have been through, but there's a relatability. The rewarding part is when they come in and they get a gleam in their eye that they want something more out of life, that they've been struck down, something's happened, whatever the situation may be, that you can give them a little bit of hope. And if they just take that with their perseverance, I can't even explain what you see in their faces sometimes and in their eyes. Still, I am so proud that now I took the class on a Saturday, which was every Saturday for 12 weeks, and I got a lot out of it. So the fact that they're taking this class to the same schedule as our Birmingham location, 5 days a week, and being able to sit there and actually absorb it without a week in between, if that makes any sense, and knowing the teachers that's going in to teach the classes, I'm just encouraged. I am still at the Foundry as a dorm supervisor, so I know a lot of the ladies, all the ladies one-on-one, so I'm excited to see what they get out of the class going every day. Since the program is completely sort of transitioning, I think the fact that we used to only have the classes on Saturdays, and so you had a 5-day time that they did work, what they call it give week, or give time, where they had their time that they worked, and then on Saturdays, they didn't get a weekend off. So Saturdays was almost like that was, you felt the emotion of their being punished to have to go to school on Saturdays. And so I think the fact that they get to devote so much time to their studies one week, the next week they contribute back as far as the work, I think it just brings a more balance on them being willing to not see it as a negative but as a positive.